The beige walls of the kitchen resonated with a quiet monotony. Anna gazed at the swirling coffee in her mug, the lukewarm liquid reflecting the lukewarm state of her marriage. 20 years. 20 years of shared breakfasts, polite exchanges about the weather, and the soft rustling of newspapers. 20 years distilled into a comfortable yet stifling predictability. David was a good man, dependable, steady. He had provided a secure life, a beautiful home, and a sense of stability. But somewhere along the way, the spark had dimmed, replaced by quiet understanding and the well-worn routine of habit. Their conversations had become purely functional, centered on logistics, groceries, bills, and the occasional update on their daughter Emily, who now lived in another city. Anna worked as a librarian. Surrounded by stories, she lived a life curiously devoid of her own. She catalogued dreams and adventures, while her own existence felt carefully sorted, labelled, and stored away on a shelf. At times she would find herself staring out the library window, watching the lively street below, wondering what it would be like to step beyond the meticulously drawn lines of her life. She recalled a time when David's touch sent shivers down her spine, when his laughter filled the space with warmth, when their conversations stretched deep into the night, carried by shared dreams and whispered secrets. Now his touch was routine, a quick peck on the cheek before bed. Their laughter was reserved for television sitcoms, and their conversations were practical. This morning the silence felt heavier than usual. David had already left for his accounting firm. Anna finished her coffee, the bitter taste lingering on her tongue. She rinsed the mug, placed it in the dishwasher, and wiped the counter. The same routine, every single day. As she stepped outside toward her car, a sudden gust of wind tore through the street, sending leaves and debris skittering across the pavement. It was a small thing, but it felt like a jolt, a reminder that life existed beyond the quiet confines of her world, a life that was chaotic, unpredictable, and maybe thrilling. The library was her refuge. The scent of old books, the hushed whispers, the reassuring weight of knowledge, it all calmed her. She loved the order, the categorization, the sense of control she found within those walls. That afternoon, a young man approached the information desk. He was searching for a specific book on Renaissance art. Instinctively, Anna felt a stirring. He was tall, with unruly dark hair and eyes that seemed to contain a universe of curiosity. There was an energy about him, a vibrancy that felt unfamiliar and intoxicating. "Renaissance art? Let me see," Anna said, her voice sounding strangely foreign to her own ears. She navigated the computer system, her fingers brushing against the keys. "We have several. Are you looking for anything in particular?" "Something that captures the passion, you know," he said, his eyes meeting hers. "The raw emotion, the beauty, the longing." His words lingered in the air, resonating with a feeling that had lain dormant within Anna for years. She found the book he was searching for and handed it to him. "Here you go," she said, her heart beating just a little faster. "Thank you," he said, his smile warm and genuine. "I'm Liam, by the way. I'm a student at the university." "Anna," she replied, surprised by the slight tremor in her voice. "Liam." The name felt like a spark. He lingered for a moment, asking her about other books, about her favorite artists. Anna found herself drawn into the conversation, her usual restraint slowly dissolving. He was interested in her opinions, her thoughts. He saw her. When he finally left, Anna felt a strange sense of disorientation. The library, her refuge, seemed different. Brighter, somehow, as if a ray of sunlight had pierced through the dusty windows. Over the following weeks, Liam became a regular at the library. He often sought her out, asking for recommendations, engaging her in conversations about art, literature, and life. Anna found herself looking forward to his visits, her days illuminated by the anticipation of his presence. He was young, vibrant, and full of dreams. He spoke of traveling the world, of creating art that would inspire others, of living a life driven by passion and purpose. He reminded her of the person she once was, before the weight of responsibility and routine had settled upon her shoulders. With each conversation, Anna felt something awakening within her, a yearning for more than the quiet predictability of her life. Liam's presence was a disturbance, a fracture in the carefully constructed facade of her existence. Anna found herself thinking about Liam constantly, his smile, his laughter, the way his eyes lit up when he talked about his passions. She replayed their conversations in her mind, analysing every word, every gesture. She started paying more attention to her appearance, choosing her outfits more deliberately, being mindful of her makeup, even getting a new haircut. David, oblivious, didn't seem to notice. The library became her refuge, the place where she could escape the monotony of her life and immerse herself in the possibility of something more. She found herself lingering near the information desk, hoping to catch a glimpse of Liam. One afternoon, Liam asked if she would like to join him for coffee after work. Anna's heart skipped a beat. I don't know, she stammered, her mind racing. I have commitments. Oh, Liam said, his expression falling slightly. I just thought we could talk more about art. There's a new exhibit at the gallery downtown that I thought you might enjoy. The gallery. Art. The opportunity to spend more time with him. The temptation was almost unbearable. All right, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I can make time. The afternoon stretched on, each minute feeling like an eternity. Anna was a nervous wreck, her stomach churning with a mix of excitement and anxiety. She imagined what David would say if he knew. She imagined what her friends would think. But she couldn't stop herself. She was drawn to Liam, to the possibility of something new, something exciting, something that could finally awaken her from the slumber of her routine. As she drove to the coffee shop, her hands trembled on the steering wheel. She knew she was playing with fire. She knew this could change everything, but she couldn't turn back. The coffee shop was alive with movement, filled with the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the soft hum of conversations. Anna spotted Liam at a table near the window, a book of Van Gogh's paintings open in front of him. He looked up as she approached, his face lighting up with a warm smile. Anna, I'm so glad you could make it. Me too, she said, her voice still unsteady. They ordered their coffee and eased into conversation. Liam spoke about the Van Gogh exhibit, about the artist's passion and his struggles. Anna listened intently, drawn in by his enthusiasm. He spoke with such intensity, such raw passion, that Anna felt a sharp pang of longing. She wanted to feel that way again. She wanted to be excited about something. Anything. As the conversation deepened, Liam turned to her, his eyes searching hers. You know, Anna, he said, his voice softening, I really enjoy talking to you. You're different. You see things in a way that most people don't. Anna's heart pounded in her chest. I enjoy talking to you too, Liam. I feel like I can be myself around you, he continued. I can talk to you about anything. Anna felt a lump forming in her throat. She wanted to tell him about her life, about her marriage, about the emptiness she carried inside. But she couldn't. The words were trapped, caught in her throat, strangled by years of silence. You're a very special person, Anna, Liam said, reaching across the table and gently taking her hand. His touch sent a jolt of electricity through her. She looked down at their hands, his young and full of life, hers older and weathered. The contrast was stark, a painful reminder of the chasm that separated them. Liam, she said, pulling her hand away, I don't think this is a good idea. What do you mean? He asked, his brow creasing in confusion. I'm married, Liam, she blurted out, the words tumbling from her lips. The silence that followed was suffocating. Liam's expression shifted, warmth fading into confusion, then disappointment. Married? He echoed, his voice barely above a whisper. Anna nodded, tears welling in her eyes. I should have told you sooner. I'm so sorry. I didn't know, he said, staring at the table, his fingers tracing the edge of the book absent-mindedly. I know, Anna whispered, and that's why this can't happen. I can't do this to my husband. Liam looked up, his eyes clouded with sadness. I understand, he said softly. I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. It's not your fault, Anna said, her voice breaking as tears slipped down her cheeks. It's mine. I shouldn't have let it go this far. She stood up, her legs trembling beneath her. I have to go, she said, barely holding herself together. Then, without another word, she turned and fled the coffee shop, leaving Liam alone at the table. The book of Van Gogh's paintings lay open in front of him, a silent testament to the passion and longing that had consumed them both. The drive home was a blur. Anna's mind was a whirlwind of emotions, guilt, shame, regret, and a strange sense of relief. She had confessed. She had put an end to it. But the pain was excruciating. She parked the car in the driveway and stepped into the house, the familiar surroundings suddenly feeling foreign and oppressive. David was sitting in the living room, reading the newspaper. "Hi, honey," he said, looking up. "How was your day?" "Fine," Anna replied, her voice barely above a whisper. She couldn't meet his eyes. She felt like a fraud, a liar. How could she pretend that everything was normal when her world had just been turned upside down? "You seem distracted," David said, his brow creasing. "Is everything all right?" "Yes," Anna answered quickly. "Everything's fine, just tired." She retreated to the bedroom and closed the door, collapsing onto the bed. The tears came freely, washing over her like a tidal wave. She had betrayed her husband, even if only in her thoughts. She had entertained the possibility of another life, another love. The guilt was suffocating. She thought about David, about their years together, about the life they had built. He was a good man. He deserved better. She knew she had to tell him the truth. She couldn't live with the lie, the secret that was eating away at her soul. But she was terrified. What would he say? What would he do? The thought of losing him, of destroying their marriage, filled her with dread. But she knew she couldn't continue living a lie. That evening, after dinner, Anna sat down with David in the living room. She took a deep breath and steeled herself for the conversation that was about to unfold. "David," she said, her voice trembling, "I need to talk to you about something." David looked up from his book, his expression concerned. "What is it, Anna? You seem upset." I don't know how to say this," she stammered, "but I've been having feelings for someone else." The words hung in the air, heavy and charged with emotion. David's face paled. "What?" he said, his voice barely a whisper. Anna closed her eyes, bracing herself for his reaction. "It's someone I met at the library," she continued. "A young man, a student." Are you having an affair?" David asked, his voice rising. "No," Anna said quickly. "Nothing happened, but I was drawn to him. He made me feel alive again, something I haven't felt in a long time." Tears streamed down her face as she confessed her emotional infidelity, her longing for something more, her dissatisfaction with their marriage. She told him everything, about Liam, about their conversations, about the coffee shop, about the guilt that had consumed her. David listened in silence, his expression a mixture of shock, hurt, and disbelief. When she finished, he stood up and walked to the window, staring out into the darkness. "I don't understand," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "I thought we were happy. I thought we had a good life together." "We do," Anna said, her voice pleading. "But I've been feeling empty, David, like something's missing. I know it's not your fault, it's mine. I haven't been a good wife to you." "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked, turning to face her. "Why didn't you say anything?" "I was afraid," Anna said, "afraid of hurting you, afraid of losing you." "And now," he said, his eyes filled with pain, "are you not afraid of losing me now?" Anna shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I don't want to lose you, David," she said. "I love you, but I can't live a lie anymore. I needed you to know the truth." The silence that followed was deafening. David continued to stare at her, his expression unreadable. Anna waited, her heart pounding in her chest, not knowing what to expect. The days that followed were filled with tension and uncertainty. David was distant and withdrawn, struggling to process Anna's confession. They barely spoke, the silence in the house thick with unspoken emotions. Anna felt like she was walking on eggshells, afraid to say or do anything that might further upset him. She tried to be understanding, to give him space to process his feelings, but the waiting was agonizing. She stopped going to the library, unable to face the possibility of seeing Liam again. She knew she had to distance herself from him, to put an end to the temptation that he represented. One evening, David sat down with her in the living room. His expression was serious, but there was a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," he said, his voice low, "about what you said, about us." Anna held her breath, her heart pounding in her chest. "I'm not going to pretend that I'm not hurt." David continued, "I am, deeply, but I also understand. I understand that we've grown apart, that we've let the routine take over, that we haven't been paying attention to each other." "David," Anna said, her voice choked with emotion. "I don't want to lose you, Anna," he said, reaching for her hand. "I love you too, and I'm willing to work on this, if you are." Tears streamed down Anna's face as she squeezed his hand. "I am," she said. "I want to work on it too." They talked for hours that night, about their feelings, their fears, their hopes for the future. They talked about the things that had brought them together in the first place, the things that had kept them together for so long. They agreed to start dating each other again, to rediscover the spark that had faded over the years. They agreed to be more open and honest with each other, to communicate their needs and desires. It wouldn't be easy. There would be challenges along the way, but they were both committed to making it work. The following months were a period of rediscovery and healing. Anna and David started going on dates again, trying new restaurants, seeing movies, taking walks in the park. They made an effort to spend more quality time together, to connect on a deeper level. They started attending couples counseling, where they learned new communication skills and explored the underlying issues that had contributed to their marital dissatisfaction. Anna realized that she had been so focused on the emptiness she felt inside that she had neglected to appreciate the good things in her life. David was a good man, kind, supportive and loving. He had always been there for her through thick and thin. She also realized that she had been using Liam as an escape, a way to avoid facing her own problems. He represented the possibility of a different life, a life of passion and excitement. But he wasn't the answer. The answer was within herself, within her marriage. Slowly but surely, the spark began to return. Anna and David rediscovered the joy of each other's company, the pleasure of shared laughter, the comfort of physical intimacy. One day, Anna decided to go back to the library. She knew it was time to face her past, to move on from the temptation that had threatened to destroy her marriage. She walked through the doors and into the familiar surroundings, her heart pounding in her chest. She saw Liam sitting at a table reading a book. She took a deep breath and approached him. "Liam," she said, her voice steady. He looked up, his eyes widening in surprise. "Anna," he said, "I didn't expect to see you again." "I wanted to apologize," she said, "for the way I handled things. I shouldn't have let it go as far as it did. You're a good person, Liam, and I value our friendship, but I'm committed to my marriage, and I can't let anything jeopardize that." Liam nodded, his expression understanding. "I understand," he said. "I respect your decision. I wish you all the best." "Thank you," Anna said, offering him a smile. "I wish you all the best too." She turned and walked away, a sense of closure washing over her. She had faced her demons and emerged stronger. Years passed. Emily got married and started a family of her own. Anna and David became grandparents, their lives filled with the joy of watching their grandchildren grow. Their marriage was stronger than ever. They had weathered the storm and emerged with a deeper understanding of each other, a stronger commitment to their relationship. Anna continued to work at the library, surrounded by stories of love, loss, and redemption. She no longer looked out the window with longing, yearning for something more. She had found her something more, within the confines of her own life. She learned to appreciate the small things, the simple pleasures, the everyday moments that made up a life well lived. She realized that true happiness wasn't about chasing fleeting passions or seeking validation from others. It was about finding contentment within oneself, nurturing meaningful relationships, and living a life of purpose and integrity. One sunny afternoon, Anna and David sat on their porch watching their grandchildren play in the yard. Anna looked at David, his face lined with age, but his eyes still filled with love. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "For what?" he asked, smiling. "For everything," she said, "for sticking by me, for giving me a second chance, for loving me, even when I didn't deserve it." David squeezed her hand. "I love you, Anna," he said. "Always have, always will." Anna leaned her head against his shoulder, a feeling of peace washing over her. She had found her way back to him, back to herself, and in the process she had discovered the true meaning of love, commitment and forgiveness. The beige walls of her life were now painted with vibrant colors. The stillness of routine had given way to the gentle rhythm of a life fully lived, a life that was rich, meaningful and deeply satisfying.